I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Thomas Edison. Are you afraid of making mistakes? Seems like a reasonable question, right? Because making mistakes doesn't sound good. But here's the thing. Making a mistake isn't what you're really afraid of. It's what the mistake demands afterwards. A mistake can happen fast, sometimes without warning. And oddly enough, you can make a mistake while you're doing your best. But taking ownership of it, fixing it, living with it, carrying it forward, that's the part that's slow. That's the part that stretches out long after the emotion of it fades, and well beyond anyone else paying attention. There's no easy reset button, no satisfying moment where everything snaps back into place and you get to start fresh. Because you don't learn much in the moment something goes wrong. You'll learn in the quiet internal period afterwards, when your progress feels like it went in reverse. That's the moment we're all trying to avoid. We live our lives around a broad blanket statement. I don't want to mess this up. But what we mean is, I don't want to be stuck fixing this longer than I expected. Or, I don't want to face the version of myself when things don't work. So we hesitate. We overthink things. We wait until the conditions seem perfect, or we have more confidence that we won't have to pay a price afterwards. But that misses the point completely. Mistakes aren't the problem. They're information. They don't tell you who you are. They reveal who you are once things stop being easy. The real test isn't whether you slip. It's how you respond when fixing the slip gets tedious, when the solution takes longer than the mistake. That's where habits show up, how your character reveals itself. That's where priorities stop being ideas and start becoming actions. It's easy to stay engaged when things are moving forward. It's harder to stay steady when progress stalls or reverses. It's harder to show patience when you know you caused the problem. It's harder to keep going when the work now feels like you're doing cleanup instead of making progress. It's why people try to avoid mistakes in the first place. Not because mistakes are devastating, but because doing the repair is demanding. Repair requires your humility. It asks for continued effort long after the lesson has passed. And we don't like to admit it, but you don't actually grow by avoiding errors. You grow by being willing to finish what an error starts, by staying with the process, by not rushing to escape the discomfort, by not looking for a reset that doesn't exist. This time we're talking about not being reckless or celebrating failures. It's about understanding where growth actually happens. Not in the moment when something breaks, but in the way you respond to something you broke. Each of us is on the grind. It's that early alarm, the extra rep, the drive that doesn't quit. Grind, spelled GRND, is the mindset that pushes you to go further when most people stop. Founded by a former Army Ranger, Grind Activewear is built on one simple mission: give 100% and then some more. Every piece of clothing is functional, durable, and made for people who outwork the rest. On the field, in the gym, or wherever you're building your next lane. This isn't just clothing. It's commitment woven into fabric, rooted in American grit and culture. Because when you wear Grind, you're not just wearing a logo. You're representing effort, discipline, and purpose. Check out thegrndcollective.com and use the promo code TRANSITION15 for 15% off your order. You're already on the grind. Now wear it. There's a moment after a mistake where reality settles in. The moment when you realize this isn't going to fix itself. This isn't going to disappear. And no one's coming to clean it up for you. That's the moment when most people check out. In outward appearances, they're still there. But internally, they've started looking for the exit. They look for any explanation that decreases the impact or their responsibility. They look for ways to move on without actually correcting what happened. because repair, that takes a different kind of energy. Mistakes feel alive. They come with emotion. You can't tell me you haven't dropped some choice words when you've messed something up. There's also the embarrassment. Who loves it when you've made a mistake and then the first person comes up? They realize it, and what do they say? What happened? It almost feels like they want to make you wallow in it some more. Then, if you weren't already, the frustration wells up even more, and now you're just flat out angry. On the other hand, repairing it feels flat by comparison. It's repetitive. Literally, you're often repeating multiple steps again. It often feels lonely. The group or your boss, they've left on or moved on, saying things like, "Hey, let us know when you fixed it and are ready to move forward." And fixing it requires patience without any type of reassurance. Or worse, there's the pressure. "Hey, did you fix it yet?" That's where your discipline gets tested. That's where you learn whether you actually have systems or you've been relying on motivation. Because motivation doesn't survive cleanup work, nor backtracking. You can be motivated to start, but fixing a mistake asks, can you keep going when the reward is delayed? When the effort is quiet? When the work feels like repetition instead of momentum? That's where habits either hold or fall apart. A mistake often exposes your gaps in your attention, your preparation, your follow-through. But repair exposes something deeper. It shows how you respond when you can't pretend you're still making progress. Now, some people rush the fix just to get it over with. They'll cut corners. They'll say it's resolved way too early, all because grinding through the repair feels uncomfortable. But then there's the other people, the ones who overcorrect. They obsess over every minor detail. They beat themselves up along the way. They turn a single mistake into an indication of their value as a person. Do you know any of these type of people? Which one are you? Making repairs and making them well is purposeful. It's intentional, but it's not punishment. It's simply about responsibility. And responsibility doesn't mean carrying shame. It means staying committed long enough to restore trust. Trust with yourself, trust in your work, and trust of those around you. That's why mistakes are useful. They slow you down. They interrupt the autopilot that we can get in. They force you to acknowledge what you'd likely ignore, how you manage your frustration. They shape what follows. A person who's willing to fix what they broke, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs time, and more importantly, our pride, is a person who becomes reliable. And reliability builds confidence. It builds a belief that you can handle setbacks without unraveling. Because success without that foundation doesn't last. People who've never worked through repairing something, especially something they've messed up, the ones who have only moved forward when things worked, they often panic when progress goes backwards. They misinterpret a mistake as a failure. They assume that any friction means they made the wrong decision. But friction is part of the deal. Fixing something teaches you how to stay present under pressure, how to regulate your emotions, how to keep your composure and focus when starting over again. That's maturity, and it's definitely not flashy. It's actually boring from the outside, but powerful from the inside. Because when you've done the work of correcting mistakes, you're less afraid of mistakes in the future. Granted, not because you now want mistakes to happen, but because you know you can handle the aftermath. That changes how you operate. When you recognize the likely outcomes, you take smarter risks because you now understand that pivots are part of the process. You don't freeze when something goes sideways. And when something does get messed up, your first instinct isn't to protect your image or your reputation. You immediately focus on correction, without making excuses. Most people waste energy explaining why the mistake happened, who caused it, especially if it wasn't them, or what circumstances impacted the mistake. And in some instances, that can matter, but not as much as what happens next. You don't learn the most when things fall apart. You learn when you decide not to abandon the process, when you resist the urge to avoid the discomfort, when you stay with the work to finish it properly. That's where confidence is earned. The steady kind, the kind that doesn't panic under pressure. That kind of confidence doesn't come from avoiding mistakes. It comes from surviving the cleanup. And the people who grow the most aren't the ones with the fewest missteps. They're the ones who didn't quit halfway through the repair. They accepted the slow pace. They didn't look for shortcuts. That's what builds strength you can rely on. Here's what I want you to take from this. Stop measuring yourself by how clean your path looks. Start measuring yourself by how you respond when it isn't. Anyone can move forward when things are working. Anyone can feel confident when progress is obvious. That's not the test. The test shows up after the mistake, when the excitement is gone, when the work turns quiet, when fixing it asks more from you than it originally did. That's where growth actually happens. Not in avoiding errors, but in staying present once one demands your attention. If you want to become steadier, more capable, more grounded under pressure, you don't need a flawless record. You need the willingness to finish what a mistake starts, to slow down instead of rushing past the discomfort, to correct instead of defending, to repair instead of explaining. However, and understand this, that kind of effort won't make you feel impressive in the moment. It won't get you immediate recognition or any pats on the back, but it will change how you see yourself. And if not, more importantly, how others see you. You'll trust your ability to handle setbacks. You'll stop treating friction like a sign that you failed. You'll take responsibility without spiraling out of control. You'll adjust without losing momentum. And you'll keep going without needing reassurance. So make mistakes. Granted, not carelessly, and if at all possible, not repeating the same ones, but sincerely. Because mistakes are generally not intentional. And when one happens, don't rush to get away from it. Don't minimize it. Don't turn away from the work that it leaves behind. Stay in it. Finish the repair. And learn who you are in that space. That's where your real progress is built. Because the mistake isn't what shapes you. What you're willing to admit, own, and complete after it is what does. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes with me. Until next time, stay sharp, stay grounded, and keep showing up.